Hello there. So I fancied to look at a more campaign based mod this week. So here we are with Old World Rites by Drunk Flamingo and Vandy. So if you're unaware, in Total Warhammer 2, all the factions in that version have got rites, including all the DLCs, while the original factions from the first game have not. Well, here's Drunk Flamingo and Vandy to the rescue with 4 unique rites for each faction, which the AI can use as well. This mod is highly compatible with other mods, if it can be a bit strange with the stats of the overhaul mods, like End Times, SFO and etc. But will work. So I'll go through all 9 factions and outline them, and I've added a few video clips for my GCCM overview video to add a bit of flair. So if you want to check that out as well, it's in the top right hand corner. So first up, the Old World Rites is going to do the Empire, and here are their choices. So we're going to go for each one, and for the Old World factions, so Undead, Greenskins, etc. And I'll show you each of the edicts which you get, or in this case Imperial edicts, or the various Old World Rites, and see what Vandy has come up with. So the first one, so you get a political choice, a DMer, even, offered between various Imperial factions. Why would be performed when you knock a character at rank 7? So you just got to level up one of your characters, hit level 7, and you can perform that right. 7,000, so the most expensive here actually. Cooldown's only 15 turns, and it's only has 5 effects. So 5 turns for the effect. So that's your first one. Second one is the Imperial Gunpowder, so unlock from the Engineering Workshop. A particularly decent one this, 5,000. You get a spawn, a steam tank, get your faction's capital, and you get unit experience +2, plus 25% ammo, and minus 35% for recruitment cost. So those 5 turns, if you're going off, you need to get a steam tank quickly. Very handy because it's got 20 turn cooldown, so you can only perform this in dire need. Maybe you got the vampire counts on your doorstep and you just need that extra, and you got a bit of cash, you can just get a steam tank quite quickly. Very handy indeed. Next, right, Imperial Faith. So this is obviously, speaking of the vampire counts, is when you're pushing into the vampire counts. This makes your army immune to vampiric and chaotic attrition. That's for 10 turns, 25 turn cooldown, so it's pretty decent, and you get a boost to leadership as well. And untainted, +5 all provinces. Very, very handy if the aggressive undead, which can be pretty aggressive in an Empire campaign, if they're getting close to your own regions, and of course they spread the vampire corruption. Pop this, and you have get rid of some of that vampiric corruption, hopefully, and ditto chaos. And of course, there's Skaven always around. The last bit you know, we've got Imperial Steel. Oh yeah, just so you have to confirm right, and we are not performing an action with a wizard hero. So just be aware of that. And then the last we've got Imperial Steel. So unit experience +2, crew cost -30% for state troops, hero crewman rank +3 for Empire captains. Very good. Nice bit of a boost to start off the Empire captains. And it's units can only be performed after owning 20 units. So pretty much, obviously a full stack or a couple of smaller stacks. Very handy, very short cooldown, only 5 turns, so if you're just about to get your army going, a perfect way to start off. So, that's your first one. Let's move on to the dwarfs. And on to the mighty Ddraig. So, here we go with their rights. First of all, clear the underway. 10 turn cooldown, and you'll take for 5 turns. So what do you get? Underway, tunnels throughout the entirety of the World Edge Mountains and much of the Old World at large. So you got miner support, so spawns a unit of miners. Pretty cool workability that. I really like that idea. I've actually tried I've heard of this mod, and I've actually tried it. So I have to start putting this into some of my own mod playthroughs in the future in my campaigns. I might have to just put this in because it's a simple mod. Well, I'm sure it wasn't simple to make, but it really adds a bit more flavour to the original Total War Warhammer factions. So anyway, So better chance of intercepting ones and a better chance of evading as well. And you get income for trade plus 20% over quite a sizable fee, admittedly. But yeah, that's for 5 turns. So that's 5 worth 100% for that 5 turns of a trade. And the cooldown is reasonable, so expensive but very good. Next, got Honour the Guilds. Recruitment duration -1 turn for 2e. Construction time -25% for all buildings. And income from all buildings 15%. Very nice, and quite a big 10 turn effect. And then the cooldown is over 10 turns, so pretty decent. 5,000 cost. Yeah, for that I would say that would definitely make the money back. Ditto for this, depending on your trade at the time. But that, I think, I own is really handy. Especially if you're being pushed back by the greenskins or similar. Take the Oath. So this is the famous Slayer Oath. Dragon Slayers spawned at your faction's capital. Unit plus experience plus 2 Slayers for 5 turns. Equipment cost and bonus for the Arch. I was just quick before I just made the Empire one. I was just reading some of the notes on Vandy's Steam page. Something you should always do when you're reading mods. And he has said on there that he restricts some units to only be able to be recruited through here. So I think the Dragon Slayer is down as one of these. In the previous one with the Empire, I mentioned the Steam Tank. That's the only way to recruit that unit. There is an additional submod. Or you can actually, there's an additional submod, I tell you, it's the mod configuration tool. So if you download that as well, run it next to this, at the start you can choose to disable various things. So there you go. Anyway, back to the dwarfs. So you've got Boys for the Arch plus 5 for infantry, 5 turns. Nice bit of recruitment experience for the Swayers, and minus recruitment cost as well. Not bad, 4,500 cost, 20 cooldown duration, and then it's instantly available again. So pretty decent, and Dragon Slayers are insanely powerful. Then weapon strength plus 15 when under siege, melee defense plus when under siege, and leadership. So this is just to seal the holes, like it says. If you got the cash and you've just been attacked and you're surrounded, perfect time to pop this. And it also allows you to get your forces in back to your base quickly. Very handy. Pretty decent price. Lasts for 5 turns. Quite a long cooldown though, 25 turns. And siege out plus 5, really just batten down the hatches, so to speak. Well, seal the holds. Okay, let's move on to the next faction. So now on to the greenskins, and here they are. So let's go through this. The effigy of the big warg. That's very descriptive for an orc, by the way, just so you know. So you got recruitment duration -1 turns for biggins, plus 5 fightness, so that's really handy if they get an OEO. But cheaper construction cost, even though in the greenskins, especially because after the recent rework, you know, the buildings aren't exactly expensive, but it's quite handy. Recruitment rank plus 3 for goblin big bosses, and recruitment rank plus 2 for biggins and black orc units. Very handy. 5 turns effects duration and 25 turn cooldown. Not too bad. 7,500. Pretty expensive that, I would say. Maybe, possibly. It's quite powerful, but it's very expensive that. Next, effigy of the spider god. So this is the way. It's the only way you can get a Ragnarok spider. Again, download the mod configuration 2 mod to configure this to your own tastes. If you don't like this, there you go. But I think it's quite a cool feature of these rites, or effigies, as this case in the case of the greenskins. So, unit experience plus 3 for Spider Rider units. Of course, you get your Ragnarok at the faction's capital. Hopefully, in the future, CA, if you ever watch this, which they won't, but you never know. Can we please be allowed to move our faction capital in Warhammer 3? Or can I Enterprise and modder try to fix this? I'm guessing if I haven't seen a mod yet. If you know of one, please put it down in the comments. But I've got a feeling it's hardcore coded into the game. Because you can do it if you use one. So if you use your faction capital and you got another one, that becomes your faction capital, etc. But it's just really handy just to move it. Not a massive thing, but it'd be a nice little feature. Anyway, back to the greenskins. Winds of Magic, Powers Earth, plus 20. And a nice bit of recruitment cost reduction for Spider Rider units themselves. Next, effigy of the Bag Moon. So, recruitment cost cheaper for squigs. And who doesn't have squigs? Attribute Stalk for all cavalry and infantry. Ridiculously powerful, that is. That's a brilliant ability. Pretty green skin eye because they do you have an ambush. Attribute Unstoppable for all night goblin units. Very powerful again. Ambush success chance plus 25, recruitment cost minus 20. That is definitely worth your 4,000 cost. Easily. Unsurprisingly, quite on cooldown on that. Because after 10 turns, that will start counting down, I believe. So yeah, it's a powerful ability, that is. It's a powerful effigy. But brilliant. And then 2,000, be a dimmer who offer a choice between the two greatest gods. Gork and Mork. Or maybe Mork or Gork. Who knows? Your pick. Very handy too. So there's your greenskins. Okay, onto the Vampire Coast. Vampire Coast? Vampire County even. Here we are. So what we got here? So we got, first one is Wheel of Willpower. So 7,500 dark magic. Immune to non-vampiric attrition. Perfect. That is a great ability. Whenever I've ever played vampires, they're awesome. I do like playing vampire accounts. I think they're a really, really cool faction. Really different. But of course, when you're pushing into expanding your borders, of course, there's no vampire corruption, so you take quite a lot of damage getting to the places you want to get. So pop this when you're about to make a good big push, preferably over a couple of provinces to make the most out of it. It's quite expensive, but dark magic is not a massive problem for vampire counts. 5 turns effect, 25 turns cooldown, obviously quite powerful. You also get vampire corruption plus 4 and all adjacent provinces, so it pushes your borders out even further at the same time. And Moore's Mist, what's this little thing? Now that is really cool. Disrupts enemy archer's accuracy, so it drops base damage, drops actually by 90%. That's ridiculous. Minus 4 leadership and minus 25% speed. So yeah, when you're pushing your borders, the perfect ability. That's really good. It's one of my favourites so far, actually. Got Right to Strength. Spawns unit of Blood Knights at your capital. Now, I've got the notes on the screen, outside of, on my screen here from the actual faction, the actual mod itself, the old world Rites mod. And there's a small note about the Blood Knights, is that they can be recruited like this. So like the steam tank and the Arachnarch Spider. It doesn't actually, for these though, it doesn't actually get rid of the ability to complete. You can still recruit the Blood Knights from the Blood Keep if you own that building and if you built it, obviously. So, just so you know. Anyway, back to the vampires. So, plus 8 for vampire hordes, plus 8, plus 5 for defense, and charge bonus plus 15%. Pretty powerful for vampires, but vampires are pretty damn powerful at the start. And a nice cooldown reduction as well, or cooldown duration, 5 turns. Not brilliant, but Blood Knights are just a superb cavalry force, and they look cool. So, 5,000. Can't remember off the top of my head how much it costs to recruit them. No, I can't remember off the top of my head. A couple of thousand, I think. They're not cheap. Anyway, Wise of Dominance. So, public order plus 6. Hero recruitment rank plus 3 for vampires. Very handy. Recruitment cost minus 18 for Fargo from Vargeists, and skeleton and zombie units plus 3. Nothing special. It's only 3,000 dark magic, so it's not break the bank, but it's not that fast, not that good ability. It's not too bad though. Rites of Intrigue. So diplomatic relations plus 20 for Empire provinces and Kizia. Very interesting. That's even better. That's very unique. I like that. Vampire corruption spread through the regions of your trade partners. That's really cool. That is. Diplomatic relations of a vampire counts, income from trade, and campaign inside. So, if you're going down an interesting route, I don't think I've ever been friendly with the Empire when I've been doing campaigns. That's an interesting idea. Maybe you could do that and then go and fight with dwarves instead. Interesting. Well, vampire counts are, well, friendly is not a strong word, but they can be on good terms with the Empire now and again in the War. So, that is interesting. Anyway. Food for thought, that is the vampire counts. And now on to the Norskans. So, obviously, you will need to roll the DLC for Norska, and in the future ones, like the Wood Elves and the Beastmen, you will need obviously those DLCs. So just remember it. Just so you realize that. Anyway, let's get straight to Norsca. So the Rite of the Wanderer. So 20 cooldown, 5 turn effect, 5,500, not too bad. Nice bit of charge bonus, bit of melee, minus enemy leadership, -4, always handy, and enemy siege hold out -2, minimum 1 turn. That's quite powerful. It's quite expensive, but it's not actually that expensive when you think about it. If you're just about to cross in the sea, and just about to start raiding, very, very handy. Speaking of raiding, Rite of Shonar, I'll do. Nice bit of item drop chance +40, bit of ambush success, income from raiding settlements +50%, income from raiding +75%. That is ridiculously powerful. That will make that money back quite quickly. Easily, I would say, in 10 turns. You make sure you're in striking distance of some Yans. Get on there, pop this, start raiding. You'll be raking the money in. Next, so we've got movement range +25% when at sea, leadership +8 when fighting at sea, chaos corruption +3 all characters, and melee +5 when fighting at sea. Not too bad, depending where you're on the map. Obviously, it depends how useful it's going to be. Not too bad price, 3,500, 20 turn cooldown duration, 10 turns effect. So it's quite a young effect, and that's handy. The movement range is very good if you're trying to push over across the sea. And these are always handy, but it's not too bad. Yeah, last week we got leadership over +50% all characters. That's pretty powerful. Construction cost reduction for buildings, very handy, and more +2 for marauders. So not a massive amount of things there, and it does last a long time. Though 15 turns is a long time, and great. And cooldown duration is 30 turns, so it's quite a long to cooldown, but very handy. And if you're starting a young campaign against somebody, quite a decent one to pop right at the start. Especially because you got that nice construction reduction for -25%. Especially if you're going to capture a coast region, like the top of the Empire or the Bretonnian Yans. They've got a lot of ports around there, and Tyria, etc. Quite handy for that. So, there you go. That's Norsca. Now on to Bretonnia, and what we've got here then. So, Core of the AD, Weapon Strength +5 for all knights, +10 physical resistance for all knights. Lady's Mantle, what's this? Protect units from all forms of damage for 30 seconds. Can target 3 units, +3. That's pretty powerful. That's really powerful. Only one use of it though. That's really only on units. That is, yeah, I like that. That's really good. Very expensive. 5 turns though, not too bad. And 22 cooldown. It's good, quite expensive though, but that is really powerful. Just a one-off in the battle. How does it last? 30 seconds as well. That's decent. That is really decent. So, onto the Core of the Peasantry. Peasant capacity +10. That's really good. Recruitment cost -50% for the peasant mob, and overall recruitment cost capacity +2. Really good, that is. I've always had trouble with peasants, my peasant capacity. I'm sure Bretonnian Lords will nod their head at that. You just never seem to have enough, because I quite like a nice mix of units, like a bit of cavalry, but I also like a nice bit of spearmen and the halberdiers as a front rank, and of course your peasant mob here and there because they're so cheap, and then the cavalry is obviously really expensive, especially when you've only just created an army. Very handy. Next is our entry is summoned at your faction capital sent against the faction of your choosing. That's really interesting. Does that create an army? I think it is. That's really cool, that is. That's a really neat ability. Yeah, I like that. Not bad. 4,500. Yeah, 1 turn. So it's only going to be a one-off. 25 turn cooldown. That's really good. I like that. Quite thematic as well. Sent out a potential suicide mission. Skaven would approve. Next, on the last one, diplomatic relations for all human factions. Have to admit, never had much of a problem keeping good in good stead with the other Empire factions. Very handy though, especially if you want to try to push through a trade deal. Nice bit of campaign movement as well, and advantageous +4. Good dig ability, 3,000, so it's not expensive. Good long time as well, 10 turns, that's really good. And the cooldown's not too bad as well, 10 turns, so... If you do get on the wrong side of the Empire, always quite a good ability to pop. So there you go, that's Petunia. Okay, on to the Wood Elves. So, here we go. So first off, 7,000, 10 and 10. Campaign movement plus 30%, income from sacking and looting plus 50%, and income from post-battle. Yeah. If you start to push out, you need a bit of cash on the way. Very good on to pop. The initial cash is quite a lot, so you have to make that back unless you flush for cash, which is not too bad with the Wood Elves. Speaking of, this is obviously being recorded before the new Wood Elves DLC, which is coming in December, I believe. So, a month away. So, fingers crossed, because if anybody's been watching my videos for a while, then Wood Elves is one of my favourite factions to play. I do have a Wood Elf faction. Anyway, on to the next. Dipper activations plus 20 with all elf factions. Right, what's the restriction in this? This can't be performed after getting a trade agreement for a high elf faction. I have to admit, I'm not convinced by that one. To get trade, I suppose it does help with all the other, because there's quite a lot of the high elves. There's a lot of different sub factions, isn't there? So yeah, I quite like that. And I really like that, that's really good. And Untainted plus 4 is always good. Reasonable cost for that type of thing. If you get that, and with all those possible trade agreements, that would easily make that up. So, looks like we're summoning some armies. So, recruitment costs dropping for all these units, that's quite powerful. Construction got minus 40% for all buildings, that's really good. For people not familiar with Wood Elves, some of the buildings take a long time to construct. Now, does that include the giant tree in the middle? Hopefully yes, because that was really, if that's the case, that is really powerful. For 5 turns, I'll take that. Hero recruitment rank plus 4 for spell slingers and waste stalkers, really nice. That's quite significant, plus 4. And no recruitment capacity plus 2. So pretty decent overall. 5,000 cost. 5 turns duration, not bad. And the last I got stalk for war dancers. Ambush success, really good, and more ammo. That's a classic Wood Elf one, that is. Anything we've got more ammo for your missile units, your mainstay of your army, and stalk for war dancers. Yeah, that is pretty powerful. War dancers are fast anyway, and they've got some great anti-infantry bonuses. So yeah, that's definitely a good one as well. So there you go, that's the Wood Elves. And on to the Beastmen, which is definitely a faction that needs all the help it can get. Come on CA, give the Beastmen some love, let's get them sorted before Warhammer 3 comes out. Anyway, what we got first? So, very expensive. 25 turn cooldown and 5 turns effect. So we got melee plus 8 when laying siege, that's decent. Tear it down, what's this? A powerful explosion. Ooh, that's really cool. That's really cool, I like that. That's a great ability. I approve of that one. Egypt plus 10 when laying siege, income from raising settlements plus 25%, that's pretty decent as well. Nice drop in siege holdout time, but with that, you might just want to just go straight forward. Income from sacking settlements plus 25%. Yep, that's very powerful. Very good. 6,500. Yeah, I think that's definitely worth it just for the tear it down ability. 2 chances of using that. I bet you the 120 turns is quite young, but still very decent. Stalk for brace humans. Is that useful? I don't think it's that useful. It's alright though. These are obviously very useful. And plus 4 is even better. That plus 4 gets you pretty much all the basic spells of the brace humans. So yeah, that's really good. Not sure about that one, but yeah, the rest of it's really good. Then again, stalk for brace humans if you're going to push them up front. Because Beastmen, you have an ambush. Yeah, I can actually see that being quite useful actually. Interesting. Cause of fear when ambushing. That's really cool. Yeah, leadership plus 5 when ambushing. Campaign movement plus 25 and ambush success. Yeah, that's really powerful. 3,500 cost. Yeah, for 10 turns. Quite a good YEMF as well. Yeah, that's pretty decent. Plus 3 for gore and ungore units. Recruitment cost minus 30% and recruitment duration -1 for base to gores. I think, yeah, it's a 2-turn unit. And plus 10 for hold growth. All very nice. Just a reminder, you got to have all these little things on the red before you can do any of these rites anyway. I haven't been going through them since the first couple, so just to remind you, these have got to be done first. It does tell you, but I just want to drop a reminder there. Anyway, on to the next one. And the Arsenal of Warhammer, the Warriors of Chaos. So, what do we got here then? So, these are all pretty expensive actually. But that's got a yield cooldown. Cooldown duration 10, 5 turns effect. So also this. The first game faction. Chaos corruption +4 in several major cities. That's pretty cool. Quite expensive though, but yeah, if you're starting to push into an area, that's really good. Presumably that's in the area you are in. Presumably? Yeah, maybe. Okay. Next. Never choose between favouring the dark gods, choose wisely. That'll just give you bonuses to whichever one you want to choose. Really handy. Think for Norskans when they raise a settlement. It'd be similar to that. Onwards to Perfect Vigor for Chaos Knights, Chaos Warriors and Chosen. That's really powerful. Campaign movement range exact +25% and +8. That's really powerful. High tier units there. And the Arms known as Yeast, Tides of Chaos. So unit experience +2 from Warders, Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights. Pretty decent. But massive casual punishment, +35, that's really powerful. Nice recruitment rank, +3 for Sorcerers and Horde Growth as well. +8. Yep, I can see all that being very, very useful indeed. And hopefully in Warhammer 3, we'll get the true Warriors of Chaos. And Demons and all the others. And all those various gods like Nurgle and Sunesh. Yep, looking forward to that. So a bit of additional information. In one of the sections I just did, I talked about how to configure certain parts of this mod. And I wanted to quickly explain that, just right at the end of this video. So you're going to need to do this, the mod configuration tool Reborn. So you just run that mod, and of course Vandy's Old World Rites mod together. And on the main screen, before you start your campaign, all you got to do is click on this new option right at the top here. So you got the usual things, and you got mod configuration 2 options. Click on that, and this new screen appears. So this tells you what mods are running at the moment. And all you got to do, click on Old Rites, and then untick that, and just finalise, or change it to for every mod, or just selected mod. So if you've got a few mods running, you can configure this in detail. I might make an additional video about this. Because this has changed quite a lot since I last used it. So, but this is just to show how it's used in Old World Rites by Vandy. In any case, just thought I'd quickly put that in, and thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it informative. I actually found it quite informative myself because I haven't looked at this mod for quite a while, and there's some great cool rites there. So, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in my next video.